Hey guys, welcome back to Cozy Room.
Womb, girl.
Ooh, girl.
I will say this, I do miss pizza bread in school. I was never the kid that wanted school lunch. I just need snacks, right? Never was going crazy for chocolate milk. Was never running to the lunch room. But if I had a doctor's appointment, I would hate when my mom would be like, you got to go back to school. No! Especially when lunch already passed. No. But since we're talking about school lunch, I wanted to talk about some better school lunch ideas for these kids, because a lot more of these kids are more obese than the amount of kids that were obese when I was going to school. And I'm just like, what is going on? What are y'all giving these kids? Maybe the over processed food is not that great for these children to be having. And that's what I want to talk about, because our children are not making it to their 20s based upon their health and their weight and what they're eating. And there are better options. It's just the school board needs to choose them. Welcome to Cozy Room Podcast. That's what I'm talking about today. Ooh. So what are we supposed to pack for lunch? So I have two daughters. One of them eats anything and everything. She's cool, okay? She makes her own lunches now, too. Ari, oh my Lord. Whoever she dates or marries, good luck to that man. Good luck to that man. Because she is so picky and particular that I cannot. I cannot. She doesn't like bread, but she won't say, I don't want a sandwich, I don't want bread. She'll take it and store the sandwiches in her lunchbox. She had 4 sandwiches in her lunchbox in Ziploc bags in the zipper part. Ma'am, if you don't want a sandwich, stop making me make these sandwiches for you when you know you're not going to eat it. I don't buy prepackaged meat. I go to the deli and I tell them to cut it for me off the real meat, right? So it's not cheap. And so a lot of times I don't know what to pack her. So she's a snacker. She likes peanut butter crackers with the orange crackers. She likes chips, Cheez-Its, fruit, and a juice. That's usually what her lunch is, because I don't know what else to give her because she's so picky. I don't do Lunchables because there's too much processed cheese, and that meat is gross. And so I really don't know what to pack her sometimes. So it's kind of hard. But my question for you is, does your child eat school lunch? And if they do you even know what they're serving? Do you know where they're getting the food? Do you even know what quality of the food that it is? Do you know? And a lot of parents don't, and that's a problem. So that's what I want to talk about today. So that's the catch up. Let's get into what's going on with the kids. All right, so what's going on with the kids? The girls had a week of fall break in October, and now we're thinking about Anya's birthday. She will be double digits. She'll be 10 on the 26th. And so I'm looking forward to that. I have to have her pick out her cake. This episode is done early, so today is November 1st, but this will be posted during the week of the 6th. But yeah, that's what's going on. We had trick-or-treating yesterday. That was fun. I separated the candy, and the candy that we do not want will be going to my brother's place of business for his customer dishes. But that's about it. That's all that's going on. What was great this week? It was Halloween. There was a lot of kids out. Like, everybody had kids this year. That's what it seems like. It was so many kids out, so many adults out. It was so busy. The streets were so packed. You could barely drive up the street without kids being on both sides. It was wild. What wasn't so great, since last Friday, my toothache. Being an adult and trying to think, like, do I want to get a root canal or do I just want you to take it? And that's like been my dilemma. I am oh, that's a trash track. I was like, it's too early for a bus. But I am dealing with my mother not giving me boundaries as a child, going well into my 20s, of me just not having no self-control, eating candy when I wanted, and not taking care of my teeth properly in my 20s, because a lot of the jobs that I worked did not provide health insurance. And if I felt great, I just didn't go see a doctor. It wasn't really a need unless it was like my annual. And yeah, that backfired. And so in my 30s, ever so often, I have prolonged issues that I should have took care of, but money-wise and time-wise, especially being the main parent that has to be there, has to do this, has to be available. It's hard to schedule, getting certain dental work done and telling your bills, please pause. I have to do a root canal. And I don't want to get a credit card of no interest just for dental work, all to give me interest a year later when, $3,000 is not paid off of dental work. This is why being a parent should be like a marriage thing, because there should be someone that is also a parent that can take the weight of what the kids need from an adult while you take care of yourself, vice versa, for a dad and a mom. And I don't have that. Ari's dad does not live near me. He lives like 45 minutes away from me. So the idea of him waking up and taking Ari to school and picking her up is not happening. Anya's dad is non-existent. So it's really me. I got to be available. And it's hard to schedule things around the girls like that, but that is like what hasn't been great. But I had like a virtual dental visit, and so I saw a dentist and he gave me some meds, and so it's not like swelling anymore or anything, but I have a appointment to see the surgeon later this month that I don't want to do, but I have to do because I don't want it to pop up again. But yeah, so that's what's going on. Let's just get into this episode, because I feel like if my mouth hears me talking about it, it's gonna be like, I'm back. And I don't want it. But yeah, November so far, cool. And I went to an art show. By the time y'all get this, I went to an art show on Sunday and interviewed a great guest, author, but I'm not going to tell y'all anything else. And so I have great things coming up.
Check out Cozy Womb Shop for show gear. Don't forget to follow the show and leave a review.
Whatever it takes, it's a piece of cake. Let me tell you something. Goofy movie, music, amazing. What is it? Amazing. I love that movie so much. All right. So let's get into the school lunch business, okay? Ideas have been hit or miss for decades when it comes to public school lunch. I remember pizza bread and that rectangle pizza, Elio's pizza, that they still sell today. Sometimes I get it for the girls. But Everything else was trash. Okay, let's be honest. Everything else at school for lunch was trash. The best school lunch is in the Hamptons, according to the internet. New Orleans and Burlington, Vermont. Over 31 million children eat school lunch daily in the U.S. And my question is what are kids eating at public schools for school lunch helping them learn? Or is it affecting their behavior and their concentration?
It's time for another season of the Palmetto Porch, an original podcast from Discover South Carolina. I'm Devin Whitmire. Join me as I get to the heart of what makes South Carolina such a great place to visit by speaking to the locals who make it so special. Premiering December 5th, find the Palmetto Porch wherever you get your podcasts. And for more information about our show, visit scpalmettoporch.com.
The most popular item for school lunches, it would be sandwiches because they're easy to make. Most school lunches for public schools are funded by the USDA, National School Lunch Program. I think that's what that P is. Kids deserve, I believe, 1 hour lunch. To give a child 30 minutes to eat when they have to stand in the line of a bunch of other kids is unfair. It's not realistic. I think they deserve an hour lunch. There are 530 million tons of school lunches that are wasted yearly. And to me, a lot of those foods wouldn't be wasted if that National School Lunch Program would do some research on what do kids like for their lunch? What would they like to see? What is something that they see on the menu or they see in the lunchroom that's like, nobody likes that. And then once you critique what the likes are, what the popular wants are, I feel like you would have less food wasted. For a lot of kids, the only time that they do eat in the U.S. because of inflation and parents not having enough money bringing in the home to choose, do I want to pay a bill or do I want to buy groceries? Sometimes kids, the only time they eat during the day is at school. And so we do want to make sure all kids have the option of having a school lunch. But at the same time, we want to stop all this food from being wasted. 30.4 million students cannot afford school lunch, meaning they can't afford to pay the school to get school lunch, and they can't afford for their parents to buy items to provide a school lunch. Now, honestly, when it comes to kids' food, there's so much sodium in it, there's so much sugar in it, and there's so much processed fats and chemicals in it that it's like, no wonder these kids are diabetic. No wonder these kids are suffering with kidney stones. No wonder these kids are getting cancer much, much younger than they did decades ago. No wonder these kids have heart disease. Look at what they're eating. Kids need healthier snacks to help them stay focused, calm, and learn. Kids need more fruit, raisins, protein, that's not processed. They need to, I think schools need to pay attention to the fat content of the foods that they're serving. Grilled cheese from cheese that actually melts. Tacos would be a nice thing to see for kids' lunch where they can make their own tacos with the ingredients on their plates. Fruit bowls in the morning. Blueberries, watermelon, pineapple if they're not allergic. Steamed veggies for lunch that are not sitting in water and grease. Apples with caramel or apples with peanut butter if they're not allergic. Also, like fun salads. Why can't there be a salad bar at school lunch where kids can make their own salads and make it fun? I think the way that school is supposed to prepare children to become adults in the real world, like talking about math and budgeting, if they do talk about that, or jobs, you should be preparing them for how to properly order their food outside in real life, how to properly eat a balanced meal. And I think the whole food pyramid needs to be revisited, because a lot of our foods today in 2023 are overly processed, GMO, and then we're looking at parents to get your child's behavior in order, or else they can't be here, or else they're going to be in this type of school. Why don't we look at the root cause? What is my child doing on a daily? What are they eating? What are they seeing? And what are they reciprocating after being taught? And once you pay attention to that for a week, I promise you, you will see the problem areas. If a lot of parents avoided sugar, they will see a difference in their child's behavior. If a lot of parents avoided certain salts and how much of it that their child consumes, they would see differences. If a lot of parents stop giving their child juices that have nothing but sugar in it, okay, you'll see a difference. There's a lot of parents that don't even have bottled water in their house, don't have no water in the fridge. A lot of these kids don't drink water because all they know is soda, juice. And I see it all the time from parents in their 20s going all up to their 60s. All these cartons of soda that does not help your child's inside, it does not help their teeth, and does not help the way that they think, and it's just liquid sugar. You're not helping your children by giving them liquid sugar. You're not helping your children by giving them unlimited access to candy. And I can say that because I had unlimited access to candy. And I'm paying for it financially in my 30s. Okay? Give your children boundaries. Teach them how to eat better. When you cook, it shouldn't be all just pizza. Have a salad on the side. When you cook rice and chicken, everything doesn't have to be fried and grease, all this gravy. Where's the vegetables? Try to introduce a new fruit per week. You could go to the farmer's market. Research different things. Research the benefits of certain fruits and berries and vegetables. Explore it. Don't be ignorant and just think, oh, vegetables, green beans, broccoli, carrots. There's so much more than green beans, broccoli, and carrots. You don't have to put all this fat in your greens when you make your greens. When you cook beets, you could use the leaves of the beets, or you can use the beets themselves. And a lot of reasons why your child probably gets sick a lot is because of their unbalanced eating habits. But when it comes to your children's school lunch, I think we should focus on more salad bar options, more fruit, and better protein. I think if we start there, instead of having cheese on Wednesday, lasagna on Monday, wings on Tuesday. Like, all of this is just sitting in our kids' bodies. And don't get me started on like red meat, because it takes so long for your body to process red meat. Okay? Even the breads are so overly processed. I stopped going to Subway when I was pregnant with Anya, okay? Over 10 years ago. Because when I was pregnant with her, I used to love Subway. But the smell of the preservatives from the bread now and while I was pregnant still makes me nauseous. I will never get my pre-pregnant nose back. Okay, I'm smelling things I've never smelled before, and I still don't like them. So just be mindful of what you're giving your child. Be mindful of the choices you're making. Be mindful of how many days a week they have greasy chips. And if you are a parent and you are consistently letting your child eat flaming hot anything, or Takis, and you find yourself in a hospital 6 months later, a year later, that decision making is your doing. Because you can go online right now and research the chemicals that are in flaming hot anything and Takis and see this repetitive routine of what is this doing to bodies and what's the issues happening to children and adults after a certain time period of eating this consistently. All right? So just be mindful of that. But there are so many ways where school lunch could be way better than what it is. And I'm 36. It's time. It's time for school lunches at school to evolve and stop taking the shortcut way out of just overly processing everything. Because y'all could do better than that. Choose to do better than that. Thank you so much for checking out Cozy Womb Podcast. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on X. You can find me on TikTok. You can find me at CHANBEPODDIN.com, where I have the feed for the latest episode. I have my podcast books to help podcasters. I have my personal book links on there also. And I have other podcast details. I appreciate you guys so much. And I hope what I'm saying is helping you be a better parent. Peace. Thank you for listening to Cozy Womb Podcast. My name is Shan, and I'm just trying to make parenting easy on y'all. Catch you next time.